Got it.
There's one or two,
Is that you, Keith?
but I can't thank you enough for coming on today, Will.
Yes, thank you.
Fantastic.
Brilliant.
Congratulations on your win at Bournemouth.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah,
Tremendous
very good.
performance.
Fantastic.
And the man of the
Enjoyed
match.
everybody.
Not just the win, but
Yeah.
man of the match as well. Good grief.
Yeah.
Keith, are you going to propose to him or what?
No, we were all glued to the set,
We was.
hoping and praying that you came through. And we'll be doing the same again for the Everton game.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Absolutely.
Is he related to you, Dave?
Yeah, do you
Dave Evans, is he related to you?
Who's that?
Will Evans.
No.
Why? Anyway, Will,
Same surname.
shut up a minute.
He can't get a word in
Shut
edgeways.
up a minute. We're a legitimate comment.
Do your management realise that there's an enclave here in South Yorkshire and Retford and Wembley and Peterborough and Oxford and all over the place, all supporting the Wood?
Yeah, to be fair, we've had the conversations. Like, I think we're sort of everyone's second team at the moment. There's people from all over, to be fair, all over the world. Obviously, tuned after the Bournemouth game and sort of mentioned stuff, and it's been a bit crazy, to be honest with you. Considering how small Boreham Wood is as a football club.
It's fabulous. So
Dog agrees too.
Yeah.
let me just paint it full screen. I just need to try and turn my sound up a bit.
No, don't.
No, mine's on full. So
Oh, no.
right, let's go back to gallery. Right, first question, Will, was what was it like at the end of the game?
To be honest, it was just so emotional. I think, obviously, if you did watch the game, you saw the manager. He was almost in tears. So I think it was just the complete overwhelming emotions. So mentally, physically tiring throughout the game, and to hold on, because it was like we scored I think middle of the first half, so it was quite a long time to hold on to the lead. So to defend constantly, it was quite tough. So yeah, I think it was just a big relief, and yeah, it was a lot of emotions.
What about, were there special preparations for the game?
Well, to be fair, like the manager, he's so particular with his what's the word? Preparation for the games. Like any game, doesn't matter who it is. He does it all the same. But he honestly, the amount of videos and games he watches over and over again before we play a team, it's actually crazy. It puts me off management, because he's literally watching it from morning till night. And it's to be fair, it's a credit to him, because there's so many things. Like even the goal we scored, we actually worked on it, because we knew they were going to have all their players back, and the man on the edge was free, and we knew that. So, and the man who scored, we knew he was going to be free on the edge of the box. I know it panned out. Obviously, it came out to him, but we'd worked on little situations where we knew he was going to be potentially free on the edge of the box. So, and that was down to him, because he'd watched so many clips and studied it and everything. So yeah, he was. I think it's a massive credit to him for doing that.
Well done.
And what other things will he tell you? I mean, obviously that was just one thing from a set piece. Does he break down each individual player that you're going to play against so that you can target them in a certain way? You know, if a defender doesn't like somebody going on the outside of him and so on, does he, tell you those kind of things?
Yeah, like mainly when we're in we'll do like an 11v11 shadow thing, building up to it. Normally on, say it's a Saturday game, we normally do it on like the Monday, Tuesday. He'll plant seeds, it's called. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just, you just say like, oh, they'll play like this, they'll do this. But then as we get closer on to the end of the week, like the Thursday, Friday, it'll be more like you say, specific stuff. And to be fair, like I said, he's so particular about things. His attention to detail is incredible. And yeah, he really does. It's not like you said, just the set pieces. It's the complete package, to be honest with you. Like, hey, even stats, like he was saying, I think it's for every underdog team who goes into like a FA Cup game or something, I think he said 74% of the wins came from set plays. So we worked on set plays. So, because he said, obviously, he's worked all that out and figured all that out. And so it was, again, like he's got all his stats and everything. And he said the underdogs win. When they win, it's 74% of the time it's from a set piece. So, which again, it was from a throw-in. So yeah. So again, it's down to him really.
Does he do all this by himself, Will, or has he got a small team or one man and a dog who help him with the analysis? Like the big teams in, say, in the Premiership will have a whole squad of people doing research and analysis, won't they? Does your manager do it more or less by himself?
So we do have like a young lad, an intern really. He's just come out of like university because he doesn't get paid as well. So it's just a thing, like an experience really. But he's really good. But the manager, yeah, he pretty much does, I'd say 98% of it by himself. It's just like, again, I keep going on about, but it's just the way he is. He likes to be in control. He likes to know everything like that. And to be fair, he reads the game very well as a manager. He can see things that I'm looking at it thinking, he's showing us a clip and he's like, well, what's wrong there? And I'm thinking, oh, okay, he's gone around the back post and he's like, no, he's done that, and it's happened, he's ended up there. And I'm like, all right, yeah. So it's a complete eye opener, like from being a player to a manager. But no, yeah, he does a lot of it himself. But we do have other people helping, but yeah. Most of it
is this a big difference to when you were at Chesterfield? The preparation.
Yeah. Well, it's just, yeah, it's funny because, like I said, I don't know if anyone's been anywhere near Boreham Wood, but it's a very small club. They literally, well, for the average attendances, we are bottom of the table. It just shows, and we were, well, at one stage we were top of the table for about 5 games in a row. We're obviously with FA Cup and stuff, we've dropped off down to, I think we're down to 4th or 5th, but we've got like 4 or 5 games in hand. So on average, we should, if the points average, we should be top of the league, if that makes sense. But
yeah, I've worked that one out.
Yeah, but our attendances are still, I don't know what it is. I think it's might be catchment area. You've got big clubs like Watford, Tottenham, Arsenal, things like that around the place. So I don't know what it is, but yeah, it's a strange place. It's but like the manager as well, he has to. We have this thing. So basically, why they can afford to pay players a half decent wage for the level, because they have this thing like a PACE Academy, it's called, and it's basically young kids from straight out of school, and they do like a 2-year college degree, but they train semi full time as well. If that makes sense. I think they train 3 times a week. So, and then they get funding for that. I think it's about £5,000 a person. So he ends up. So the chairman's he's a great businessman, I have to say, because he's making a lot of money from that. Which obviously, then can afford to pay players half decent wage for this level. So, because otherwise they wouldn't be able to do it. They wouldn't be able to sustain it off just attendances alone. Because they, like I said, their attendances aren't great, really.
How many do you get, Will, roughly?
Well, it's really random, to be honest. Like, on a Tuesday night we'll get like 500, and then we'll have 1,500 the next week. It's really bizarre.
And how many are you taking to Everton?
I think, well, that's the thing as well. It's even that you'd expect people like thousands and thousands, but so where they do it at Everton, I think they're saying like they do it in like blocks. So they've given us 2,000, I think, but for the next block, it's an extra 3,000 on top, which will make it 5,000. But that extra 3,000, the club would have to pay for them. So they don't want to fork out £3,000, 3,000 tickets worth, and then try and sell them, because they won't end up selling them, which is it's madness, really, how a club
Very generous, aren't they?
Yeah, so it's difficult, because I do feel sorry for the chairman in a way, because they've done really well over even like the last 5-6 years, to be fair, since the manager's sort of taken over. They've got to the playoff final. They got to the 4th round FA Cup, I think, last year. They've made playoffs last 3 or 4 years as well. So they're always up and around the top end of the table, but they just can't get people through the gates. It's a strange thing, to be honest, and especially going from Chesterfield, where you're getting 5,000-6,000, and then to go down there. To be fair, for me personally, it was a bit of a breath of fresh air in a way, because you sort of just go there. It feels like you're playing with your mates, and just enjoy it. I think that's why our success has been so high, because it literally is. We go there, put some songs on have a good sing song before the game, and then we go out and play, and obviously end up winning most of the time, especially at home. I don't think we've lost at home yet. And then we go home, and it's like you're playing with your mates, which is it's a nice feeling, to be honest.
What sort of music do you and your mates like? What songs do you sing? With George Formby, won't you?
There's a lot of cheesy music, I have to say.
Will, going back to the analysis by the manager, do you get any analysis on what you might expect from the referee?
You
don't know what to expect from the referee.
No, they are very much out of our hands. Well, I've been sent off twice this year, so for things that I think I disagree on, but
I agree with you, Will. It was travesty at Chesterfield, travesty.
But that's life, isn't it? You just that's the uncontrollables, I guess. Which is why football is such a beautiful game, really. It's because you've got things like that you can't control.
Will,
how do you travel down to? You'll be going down later to Boreham Wood. How do you find that, living a long way away from the club you play for? I mean, there must be disadvantages to that, and the practical difficulties of getting to and fro. How do you find that? Yeah,
well, it's actually a bit crazy, really, because like when you play teams like any London-based or anything like that, they're technically going away, but I'm travelling further than them to get to a home game. So
yes, of course.
It's in a way it's worked out okay this year, because a lad, I don't know if Chris has mentioned it, but a lad I play with, Scott Bowden, he lives up in Sheffield, Eckington, is it? Something like
Eckington,
that.
Yeah, so, just round the corner, yeah.
Yeah, so he lives literally just the other side of the M1 from me. So he cuts across and we drive down the A1. But so we share journeys like for training days, which is good. But his dad also takes us as well. So I feel like I'm a 10-year-old boy again as well. So, his dad comes and picks us up and we drive down. He takes us to the game and drives us home. So it's all right, to be fair, at the moment. But yeah, I think if I had to do it on my own, it would be quite hard. But to be fair to the chairman, he's got a few houses down there, and he lets me stay in one of them if I wanted to. It's there for me to stay there, so I can do. I did that at the start of the season, well, especially in pre-season. I did that a couple of times during the week and stuff. Like if we trained Monday, Tuesday, I would stay Monday night or a Friday night before a game, just because it is a long way on your back and on your legs and stuff. So.
Do you have to go on the team coach to all games, or if you were playing at Altrincham tonight rather than at home, would you be taking the going on your own or going with your mate, or would you be having to go down and get the team coach?
No, to be fair, the manager's quite good at that. He just lets me he just says in most of the time, because he knows obviously most games, my mate's dad takes us, so he says, are you going straight to the ground? So most of the time we just go straight there to away games, because especially up north, because there's no point in us driving down and then coming back up. So we normally just go straight to games, but they'll, like most of the, obviously, I say most of the lads, it's only us two really that live up here. So most of them live down in London way anyway. So they'll all just jump on the coach. There'll be a few meet points just up the A1 or something. But yeah, most of the time that's what I mean. That's what I was saying to you earlier about the place is just so relaxed. We don't go overnight or anything. We don't travel on Fridays, which at Chesterfield, pretty much every away game apart from Notts County, I think we travelled away on a Friday. So it turns out to be a long weekend in a way. You're away, well, obviously you go Friday morning, leave Friday morning, then you come back late Saturday night. So for me as well, obviously with two kids, I don't see my kids for potentially 3 days by the time they've gone to bed and stuff. So
right.
Going back to the low attendances, what's your competition? Where do people go?
Well, they've got Barnet around the corner. They've got Watford, Arsenal, Tottenham, and I really don't know, to be honest, because you think in near London you're going to get a few places, but no, to be fair, they've come out when they've needed to, but other than that, they never have done. I remember playing there 6 years ago, and we played on a Tuesday night, and to be fair, it was cold and wet and snowing and everything, and I think there was literally like 250 people there.
Wow.
And I think 50 of them were Chesterfield fans. So so it just it's a very, very small club. I think that's why it sort of puts it in perspective, like how much of a sort of an achievement and how much of a hard work goes into running the football club from the chairman's point of view, because he's got to find money from somewhere and earn money from different avenues rather than obviously attendances.
Yeah. By the way, Will, the guy who asked you the question about the referee is an ex-Football League referee who once sent 4 people off from the same team. And I think he sent 3 Newcastle players off as well, and Keegan wasn't too pleased about it. But and there's another Football League referee in Lino. I can't remember which. Trevor. He was
linesman at the time. They call them assistants now, but I was a linesman.
Yeah. So, and the guy Peter, he'll be urging you on in the next round because he's a big Liverpool fan. Sorry, yes. Right, Dave.
You love those toughies.
Yeah, right, Dave.
Yeah, I'm going to ask Will, how were the Bournemouth people with you after the game? You know, the players and the manager, did they wish you well, or were they a bit bitter?
Well, to be fair, straight after the game, I literally ran over to our fans. I feel a bit bad now when you think about it, but I didn't see any of their players. They just obviously walked in. We were celebrating. So, but once we came back in, the manager, Scott Parker, actually came into our change room, and he said, obviously, wished us all the best and said well done and things like that. So, which was a really nice thing for him to do.
Yeah.
Obviously, he must have been one of his lowest points as a manager.
What about the players on the pitch while the game was going on? Were they? You sometimes hear about these top players saying, "Oh, you're not fit to be on the same pitch as me," all that sort of stuff. Was anything like that?
No, Carlton Palmer wasn't on the pitch.
No, to be fair, there was nothing like that. To be fair,
no, that's good.
I could see, obviously, as the game was getting obviously more and more into the game, you could see their frustration. Obviously, which then it sort of that thrives. I thrive off that because I know they're getting frustrated. Obviously, things aren't going their way, so it gives you that. I think that gives you the extra percentage that you need to get you through the adrenaline and stuff. So, and obviously it takes them obviously in a negative way, so it can work badly for them. So, but obviously I turned it into a positive for myself because it makes me laugh. Do you know what I mean? Because I've been in that situation where you played like a lower team and they're beating you, etc. So, it's not a nice feeling.
Good for you.
Yeah, it's good for me. So,
what was the Kidderminster game in the back of your mind?
I spoke to someone about this the other day, actually. Someone mentioned that because I actually, I think I can't remember when it was. That was on the Saturday, wasn't it, before?
Yeah.
So we trained on the Saturday morning and I got back and I ended up watching, I think, the last 20 minutes or something of the game. And obviously they ended up losing, but they scored in like the 91st minute or something. And I said at the time I never really thought about it, but then maybe because I felt so sorry for him, I was actually I was devastated for him. But maybe I was thinking, now I think about it, probably was playing in the back of my head, like not actually thinking about it, but it was in the back of my head because it happened 24 hours before, sort of thing. So it probably, in a way, it did, sort of helped us. Obviously, all our lads would have, like, we did mention it before the game amongst ourselves, sort of thing. Oh, did you watch the Kidderminster game? Did you see? Oh, they were unlucky, sort of thing. So maybe, it's a strange thing because I never actually thought about it, but it probably did help us in a way, the way it panned out.
So, have you had any specifics yet about the Everton match, or?
Not at the moment, no, because the manager's quite particular the way he goes about things. He's got like a saying, it's a run of one. So every game is a run of one. So obviously our main focus is obviously tonight, Altrincham, and then he'll leave that, and then we'll just go to the next game. Then we'll just go to the next game. So he doesn't try to go too much ahead. To be honest with you, obviously we speak about it amongst ourselves, and obviously he does mention it because there's little bits and bobs that he needs to sort out, I guess, for a bigger game, but like tickets and things like that. So it does get mentioned, but nothing actually about the game as such, how we're going to play or anything like that, because he'll be doing his research on the background in the background. But I think I spoke to him the other day, actually. I think Frank Lampard texted him on the Monday he managed to get his number. I think he was like, "Oh, well done and look forward to seeing you," which was quite a nice touch as well.
Nice,
I noticed you mentioned about the manager was almost in tears. The chairman walking across the pitch to the fans, his bottom lip was definitely going 10 to the dozen.
Yeah. Rightly so.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think, like I said, because he bought the club 27 years. I think he's been here.
Wow.
I think something like that. He's been a long time anyway. I can't remember exact because he was his anniversary thing a couple of weeks ago. I should remember, but and he's like the longest standing chairman of Boreham Wood or something now. But he's a Boreham Wood lad. Well, a little bit of background to be fair. He grew up in Boreham Wood sort of thing, just around the corner, and he ended up working in the studios, the Universal Studios, the film. So he was a filmographer, whatever it was, something like that, and he made all his money through that. And then he ended up buying Boreham Wood, and it was I saw photos of it, and it was a complete and utter mess. Things like falling off the walls, ceilings off the falling in and stuff. So it was a complete and utter shambles, to be honest with you. So what he's done for that club is incredible. And to get to where it is now, it's a real achievement, to be fair. So, and obviously that's probably the biggest highlight for that.
Does he have a copy of his Oscar in his office?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Have you?
A lot of
fantastic.
There's a lot of famous pictures of him. A lot of famous people around his office, which is quite good. So.
Yeah, he's not got your part as an extra in the next Bond film or anything like that.
I might have to ask him that actually. I might have to see if I can get on the screen.
Yeah, exactly.
Or somebody like that. Yeah, Boreham Wood.
Boreham Wood.
If he had a script of what's happened at Boreham Wood, it would be quite a film, but probably no one would believe it.
No, exactly. You could write a film of it. The way it's done and stuff. It's incredible. Even though the manager, he was a player, and then he was a coach, and then he became the manager. So I think he was 34, something like that, when he took over. So
did he play at Boreham Wood?
Pardon?
Was he a Boreham Wood player?
Yeah, he played for Boreham Wood. Yeah, so because he even has to work. So he manages us, and then we leave. So we start really early in the morning. Well, not really early, but quite early in the morning. But we have to be off. We have to be off the site of the ground by 12 o'clock or 12:30 latest, because they've, like I said, they've got the academy, the college lads. So they train in the afternoon. And he has to do things like that as well. So he does all the admin side of that. So he basically he's got two jobs. So the work the work he puts in for us, and then he has to go and do that. It's incredible, really. So
has anyone ever mentioned Ilian Dye to you?
Yeah.
No, he's now with Sheffield United. And we got him from Boreham Wood.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah. There's because there was him and there was a couple of others I think that went through. But they got one. I think one of their golden boys, Sorba Thomas. He's at Huddersfield. So they all mentioned him because I think he made them a lot of money. So, right. But yeah, there was a couple. I think
making any money out of us. Sorry about that, Will.
They may make money if ever we sell Ilian Dye, because if he goes, he'll go for big money.
Yeah. Well, that just shows they've in the last 3 years I think they've got 3 players come through and played at a good level. So so they get hundreds of kids through the door, but they give them an opportunity because they're young lads, and they give them an education, and they give them a chance to play football. So it's doing a really good thing there. Yes, really
brilliant job.
Well, thinking about the psychology of the Bournemouth game, you score a goal, go 1 up, and then you start to get penned back a little bit. Is that a deliberate ploy, or was it just that Bournemouth were struggling? Or my philosophy in football is if you're good enough to score one goal, you're good enough to go for a second. Which way does it go? Is it a deliberate thing to defend, or is it just that you got penned back?
I think we just got penned back, to be honest with you. They made all 5 subs, and they brought on all their top goal scorer and all their I don't know, so-called big hitters, I guess, to try and go and win the game. So I think it's a credit to us because they had to try and do that. But no, I think it was, like you said, it's just the way the game panned out. Obviously, we're not as fit as them as well. So, and obviously they are at that level for a reason. They're obviously technically better than us, physically fitter than us. So I think it just we just sort of penned ourselves back in because I've never felt so tired on the bus before. Just from the mental side of it as well, because especially at the National League level, it's a bit more. It's obviously not as pretty on the eye. The ball goes out of play a lot more, and things like that. So you do get a bit of a respite in that sort of aspect. But against obviously Bournemouth, they had the ball 98% of the time. I think the percentage was, I think they had 78 or something, or 82, and we had something, so it wasn't a lot that we had the ball, but actually looking back at it, they had a couple of little scares, like that. I think when they lobbed the keeper, and when they were offside, they had a couple of little, we had a couple of little scares, should I say. But other than that, there was a lot of time I felt quite comfortable. In a way, obviously we had to move a lot and shuffle across the pitch and close down and stuff, but I never felt like we were in a lot of danger, if that makes sense. We had, like I said, a couple of scares, but nothing like where the keeper was getting completely peppered, as in making so many saves and things like that. I think their first on target was at 60 minutes, so which is obviously a credit to everyone, do you know what I mean, from the front to the back. So
thank you.
You start to believe it's your day, don't you, after a while?
Yeah, absolutely. When, like I said, when the offside decision went to review, or even the goal. The goal, you look at the goal, it looks like it's hit the middle of the pit, the post. And the spin of the ball's taken it in, and it's actually incredible, really, how it's actually ended up in the back of the net, because like I said, it looks like it's hit smack bang in the middle of the post and it's gone, all of a sudden it's in the back of the net. It was it's quite surreal, really. And the fact that the lad that actually scored, he trained for half an hour, 40 minutes the day before, and he's been out for 4 weeks. So the fact that he even made it onto the pitch, I guess, is another thing. So
is meant to be.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that's what I mean. I think we rode our luck at times, but yeah, I think at the end of the day, you sort of make your own luck. We worked hard, we prepared well, and yeah, I think it all panned out. So good.
So, are you going to be able to join us for the second half, Will? Or
I can carry on.
You join us again. So, coming to about a minute and a half left of this one. So, has anybody got a quick question to ask Will?
Well, I've not forgiven Everton since 1966, so I hope you're going to beat them, Will.
John's a Wednesday fan, and Everton came from 2 down to beat Wednesday in the 1966 Cup final.
Thanks for reminding me, Keith.
It's Derek Temple has
days.
been one of my favourite players.
Yes, he was a hero at night.
Yeah.
Derek
Very
Temple
good
scored
game.
the winner for Everton.
This meeting's degenerating.
Yeah, Mike Travilco weren't bad either.
Yeah.
Ooh. Hey, there were a fella on telly last week called Trabilco from Cornwall.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, yeah.
I saw him.
Took an instant
Right,
dislike to him.
Yeah, and
Right.
through brick through jelly.
Yeah.
We're right. We're less than a minute to go, so we'll wrap this half up, and I'll see you in 5 minutes. Okay.
Right, okay.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Will.
Thank you, Will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Um,